Hey, I hope you like that intro. I'm trying to up my editing skills. If so, smack that like button for me. Recently, a few people have been asking me if they should get the Sony XB950N1 or should they shell out the extra cash and just get the Bose QC35. And my response to that question is usually, well, what are you looking for in these earphones? So if you're having the same question, hopefully I can help you out. First, let's address the price. The Sony XB950N1 currently retail for $248 over at Amazon and come in two colorways, black or green. The Bose QC35 on the other hand retail for $349 and also come in two colorways, black or silver. If you're not good at math, these two earphones have a $100 price difference. That's like 5 IMAX movie tickets to the Fate of the Furious. I have links in the description below if you want to buy either one of these. So a quick rundown of these two earphones. They're both noise cancelling wireless earphones. They're both using Bluetooth 4.1. They both have a battery life of around 20 hours. They both have NFC pairing capabilities and they both have an accompanying phone application. But nonetheless, they are both very different products. For starters, the Bose QC35 are truly worth that $349 price tag. The materials are much more premium and the build quality is very solid. The majority of these earphones is made out of metal and the headband is much more flexible than the headband on the Sony XB950N1. The Sony XB950N1 on the other hand is made mostly out of plastic and the overall design of the Sony XB950N1 is huge. Like I mentioned in my initial review, you can actually still see the XB950N1 in your peripheral vision when you put them on. The Bose QC35 on the other hand are much more compact. One very subtle design detail I appreciate from the Bose QC35 are the large letters found inside of the ear cups indicating which is left and which is right. It just makes putting on these earphones correctly the first time much easier. Whereas the Sony just have these two little dots which don't really do very much, so I always have to pause and make sure they're oriented correctly before I put them on. Both of these earphones also feature controls on the bottom of the ear cups and they both took very different approaches. The Bose QC35 really just has a power button, a volume rocker, and an extra button to play and pause your music. Double tapping the center button skips a track and triple tapping goes back a track. It's very easy to tell which button you're pressing since they're very elevated. The Sony XB950N1 on the other hand has a few more buttons and allow you to take more control over your headphones. You can do things like turn on or turn off the bass effect feature, more on this in just a second. You can turn noise cancellation on or off, and controlling your music with the dongle on the Sony XB950N1 is much more intuitive and slightly more accurate. When it comes to controls, I really prefer the XB950N1 over the QC35. When it comes to wearing either one of these earphones, they're both very comfortable. But I do prefer one over the other, and that would have to be the Bose QC35. Like I mentioned earlier, both of these earphones are noise cancelling earphones, and naturally, I know you're probably wondering which has the better noise cancellation. And after trying both of these headphones on in the same noisy environments, I did find the Bose QC35 had the better noise cancellation. Just be warned, and this is just my experience, when I wear the Bose QC35 for more than a few minutes without playing music, I do get a headache. This doesn't mean it will happen to you. The Sony XB950 on the other hand don't give me any kind of headache whether the music is playing or not or after prolonged use. Just don't expect the noise cancellation to be as good as the Bose QC35. Overall, the sound quality on both of these headphones is great as well, but they do sound very different. The Bose QC35 give you a very decent listening experience overall. You've got a wide soundstage, instrument separation is spot on, lows, mids, highs, and vocals are all very clear. What makes the Sony XB950N1 special is their bass effect feature. As the box implies, the Sony XB950N1 are made for people who absolutely love bass. The bass on the Bose QC35 just can't compare to the Sony headphones, and having all that bass really changes the listening experience. And even though the XB950N1 have a whole lot of bass, it doesn't take away from the sound quality. One complaint I do have about the XB950N1 is their highs can get a little painful at times, whereas the highs in the Bose QC35 in the same song didn't cause any discomfort. Like I mentioned earlier, both of these headphones also have smartphone apps. The Sony XB950N1 smartphone app allows you to do a few things like turn the noise cancellation on and off. You can also adjust the bass effects so you can actually turn it up or turn it down. For those wondering, the bass on the Bose QC35 is equivalent to having the Sony XB950N1 bass set to -2. Hopefully that helps give you a reference of some sort. Sony's app also allows you to adjust the surround effect of these headphones. But like I mentioned in my initial review, it really just distorts the sound for me and I just keep that feature off. Bose's smartphone app on the other hand really doesn't let you do too much. I even wonder why we even have to bother with an app sometimes. Overall, both of these headphones have their pros and cons. The Bose QC35 have far superior noise cancellation than the Sony XB950N1, and they also have a far better build quality. The Sony XB950N1, on the other hand, are truly all about that bass. The Bose QC35 give you a very balanced listening experience, and their slightly smaller size and included hard case make them great for traveling. But the bass on the QC35 does leave you wanting more, and that's where the XB950N1 picks up the slack. The Sony XB950N1 are just made for bass heads, and all that bass really truly elevates the listening experience without taking away from the sound quality. Traveling with the XB950N1 can be a little harder due to their larger size, but if you do plan to travel a lot with them, it would be smart to invest in a hard shell case. But overall, if you're looking for something with amazing noise cancellation and sound good, get the Bose QC35. If you need to have your bass, then get the Sony XB950N1. Hey, if you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could, please high-five the like button, it helps the channel grow. If you like videos like this, subscribe. There are more product reviews and fitness advice videos coming. For more, check out gymcaddy.net, and I'll catch you next time.